Well, hello guys, so welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Karen, and today I will be sharing with you the quilt block known as the Greek cross, sometimes known as a Grecian cross, but it looks like a actual Greek cross, hence the reason. I think it was originated in the 1930s, and so I'm going to share it with you today. I'll be using some scraps to make this particular block. I will have all the sizes in the description box for you if you feel so inclined that you would like to try and make it. Nevertheless, it's a beautiful block. It stitches together very simplistically like a 9-patch. It's a fun one. I would definitely say it makes a really beautiful whole quilt, and you will not be disappointed in making this one. This is one I have actually thought about making for years actually, and I thought it would be a brilliant block to demonstrate to you. Maybe you have heard of it. If you have, do let me know down below if you've heard of it before. As I said, I thought about making it ages ago and never really got round to it, but as I am doing lots of blocks, you know, I thought it will be nice to have it in the collection. So I'm using scraps here. I'm not sure if I actually cut this off correctly, but I'm certainly going to have a go of it. So as I was saying, it is a beautiful block, very simplistic, sews together as a 9-patch. If you hear my background really quiet, it's because the boss of the house is taking a nap. So yeah, I think he's a bit tired today. So when he's quiet, I think that's the best time for me to try and do some actual, and I just cut that wrong. For me to do, literally, I gotta do that again. Let's have a look. Can I use this one? I should be able to use this one. For me to do some filming, so you know, he's not interrupting me, and he's been a bit quiet actually. I don't know what's wrong with him. Puppy's bored. We have been going out, so I don't know why. He does get like that sometimes, where he goes through his quiet moments and I have to say, hey, are you okay? But hey, you know, we all have those days, don't we, whereby we are a little bit quiet. We don't really say much. So I'm not bothering with him. If as long as he's okay. When Carl comes home, he will pipe up. Mind you, if I walk out there now, he would literally pipe up. So I think he is he's all right. I think he's just having a quiet day. As I said, he does that sometimes. So I don't interfere with him. If he's having a quiet moment, I let him have his quiet moment. And when he's ready, you know, because we all can't be bubbly all the time, can we? That's the reality of life, you know. We do need a bit of a quiet moment sometimes. So there you go. But I hope everybody's well, doing fine, and everything is good with you. We all need those moments when we just check in on each other and make sure everything is fine with us all. This is a very quick cross, or a quick block I should say. I don't perceive it to be a long-winded block at all. So can I get what I want from this strip here? I will see. What about this one here? As I said, I'm using scraps. You don't have to use scrap to make this. I do feel that this will be a beautiful one block wonder. That is not enough. It is not enough. Has it been cut straight? That is the question. Because sometimes the scraps are scraps and not a cut. This looks like it's a cut from something. Nevertheless, do these two contrast together? I am not sure. Don't want to risk it, but I'll leave it there for a minute. Right, so let's move on to my next sets of cuts. Alright, so now that everything has been cut, I'm just going to give it a little bit of an iron because the fabric is a little bit crimpled. It's been folded for such a long time. So just to smoothen it out so that it goes together nice and easy. That's it. The background fabric is fine. Alright, so we need to make some half square triangles. But before we do that, I'm just going to show you how this cross is formed. I'm hoping my cuts are accurate. I'm just, because I use scraps for this, so I'm just hoping it's right, because this one looks awkwardly larger. This one looks awkwardly smaller, I should say. So, okay. No, it's fine. Why does it look so funny in my eyes? Anyway, so we are going to chain piece these together like so. So we're going to use our print with our rectangles, and we're going to chain piece. You know, I like to chain piece because it does make the whole process go ahead very quickly. So I'm going to chain piece these, come back, and then we'll move on to the next one. Alright, so now that these are chain piece, next step is to fit these front sides together, draw a line from point to point, and we're going to literally sew on either side of that mark line, making two at a time half square triangle. Again, I'm not using heat erasable pen because that's going to be my mark line. So I'm going to do that and I'll be back. Okay, so all the components are now ready, and now to put the block together. Alright, all the components are now ready. It's time to now put the block together. I have, as usual, chain piece all of my half square triangles, and I'm now going to cut on the drawn line as usual. This will need trimming down, so I'm going to do that with all of them. And we also will need to do a little bit of ironing to open up the first set of blocks that we made for the Greek cross. Now, as I said before, this is another great one block wonder, and I don't feel that you'll be disappointed with this one at all. So what we're going to do now is to open up these and iron them. I think I need some water in that iron. So as usual, you put the dark fabric or the darker fabric down, and then you press. In fact, that was absolutely incorrect. All right, so to iron this out properly, we need to put the light fabric down, and then we need to press it out so that the seam line goes behind the darker fabric. These blocks will need to be trimmed because they are slightly bigger than what they need to be. But again, a very quick block. What's wrong with my speech today? That was wrong. I mean, hold on, let me just say this. If you're so inclined, iron it the wrong way, I mean, it's neither here or there. Don't sweat yourself over these things. However, what I would say is that even though you may avoid it sometimes, so for example, what I mean by that is even though some blocks at the start of the block you may put the seam line against the darker, when you have to do a second set of subcuts from that particular block, the seam line still will, you know, finish up behind the white. So sometimes it's unavoidable, but if in the stage of pressing it like this it goes behind, you know, you don't have to go ahead and do it all over again. Just bear that in mind. I do feel that sometimes people just make quilting a lot more difficult for newer quilters, when realistically it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. It is such an independent craft, you know. And what I mean by that, it's your work. It's your picture in your head. It's your choice of fabrics. So that's what I mean by that. It's all about you and how you see things. So yes, it looks better without, in the sense that if it does go behind the seam line, it's no big deal. Don't stress it out. It's just so that you wouldn't see that shadow. But it is what it is. So I try not to, because I think that those little things take away from the beauty of what you're trying to do if you are focusing on those negative things. And I think I taught myself that a long time ago, you know. It just doesn't make any sense, really. It just takes away the joy, because then you become picky and you focus on what is not supposed to be there. So don't do that to yourself, literally. All right, so next step is to trim these up. I'm going to go ahead and do that very quickly, and then we will be able to lay the blocks out. Now, whenever you're trimming up half square triangles, use the diagonal line in the middle of your ruler, whatever ruler you're using, and line it up with a diagonal line, or seam line in this case, with your half square triangle, and then you simply need to adjust. That's it in a nutshell. All right, so it's time to lay the block out now. And as I said before, we're going to sew this together as a 9 patch. Okay, so we're going to start with the middle block as usual, or the center square. And we're going to lay it out like so. We're going to add all of the same colors touching each other. Very simplistic but beautiful block. Makes a really lovely pattern, and you can see the cross in the middle. It's ironic that I've actually chosen red. It wasn't planned like that. Okay. And then the background squares fit in like so. Okay, that looks really good. Now, if you wanted to, you can turn the block in. Now, personally, the white to me makes it looks a bit this, like, you know, just there in the middle. But I think if you turn it to this way, which is more of the traditional one, where the colored block is actually turned in the middle. I think for me personally, I like it with the colored fabric towards the center. I think that shows up better, and you can still see the cross. All right, it's entirely down to you. What I would say though is, rather than use like a white background, you could possibly use another color for the background. Just make sure excuse me, that it's a bit subtle. You don't have to use white. All right, I only chose white because there was white in the red fabric. All right, but it's up to you. Okay, so decide on which you like and see what it yields to you. I mean, the other option, I know I have turned that this way. I'm just messing around with the block to see what it yields like that. The other option is you can turn the white in to show the cross. You'll still get a cross, but you'll get a two-tone color cross. All right, and let's say we add the print background, and let's see what it looks like. And I am liking this one also, definitely. All right, but you have options of what you would like to do. Let's turn the white background in and see what else we get and see what it looks like. And remember, when you're doing this, because I look at the camera, all right, so I can see it quite clearly, but you can always take a picture with your camera. This reminds me of a particular block. Now tell me if you know what block this is in the description box down below, what it reminds you of. All right, I'm not going to say it, but I want to see if you can figure it out. Okay, and yeah, so options yet again, but we're going to stick with the original plan, which was reds touching each other, or as I like to say, kissing each other. I'm such a romantic, aren't I? You know, let's keep the love in the quilting. Quilting is love. So let's keep it. So let's say they're kissing each other. And we're going to add the background print to the corners. And I am happy. I'm in love with this one. I love this one. I think this one is really nice. So what I'm going to do now is to sew this together as a 9 patch. And then we can move on from there. And that's the end of that, as they say. All right, so I'm going to sew this together. Remember, you can chain piece. All right, so front sides together, and then you can add, so the front sides, in order to achieve the chain piecing, front sides together like so, front sides together like so. Again, not breaking thread. Okay, once you've done with this side, then you fold this side back, and then you will turn this one over. And that applies to all of them. And what happens, number one, you don't get anything mixed up. Okay, because all the threads, the chain, so to speak, is still connected and it is wholesome. All right, so I'm going to go do that now, and then I'll show you the completed block. All right, so all sewn together now. I must admit, this sewed together so quickly. This is a really lovely block, and I'm not trying to sell it to you. It really is a beautiful, simplistic block. I mean, it just came together so quickly. The chain piecing, I can literally see this as a whole quilt finishing up so quickly. It was such an easy block to sew together. All the pieces lined up, all the individual squares lined up so easily. You know, there was nothing, cutting was accurate. It was just so beautiful and easy. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I think it looks better just right away from my eyes, about 10 inches or so from my eyes, than on the screen. Beautiful, guys. Really, really beautiful. So this is your Grecian or your Greek cross. Absolutely gorgeous. So do like and subscribe for more. It doesn't need trimming. Let me tell you what size it comes up to so that you are informed. So that is a 12-inch block, I am sure. But let me confirm, either 12 or 12 and a half. That ruler was a little bit short, so let me give it to you accurately. It is a 12 and a half inch block. So beautiful, 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 beautiful. That's it. Really nice and simplistic. And you can use different colors as well, to be honest. You don't have to use one solid color throughout. And you can use different colors. You can use scraps for this as I just did. And you can have a different color of all the Greek crosses in your one quilt. What I will do in the pattern, I will give you as well the amount of blocks to make a throw size. And Jackson is up. All right, guys. So bye for now. Happy quilting, and I'll definitely see you in the next video. Have a good one. And give me a thumbs up for this. Do leave me a feedback down below. And what do you think of the Greek cross and the other questions I asked you during the video. So see you in the next one, guys. Bye for now. Love you loads.